Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Wow, I get applause just for saying good afternoon. I hope you enjoyed your entrance music tonight, this afternoon. I want to thank some of our local friends and musicians who are helping us express and show to you the music of World Library Publications. So thanks for coming. I'm Mary Beth Kundi Anderson. I'm the Director of Publications at WLP in Chicago. All of those wonderful preludes are listed on the order form that's in your packet. So if you're wondering, they all come from collections that we have published at World Library Publications. So, hey, who doesn't want to spend the next hour sight reading 18 new pieces? I do. Okay, the people behind me have rehearsed a little bit, so they're here because inevitably there's going to be some point where you don't know what verse we're on, or you missed your cue or something, but they're going to help you keep going. So before we start, though, I'm going to borrow again, as I did last year, from wonderful composer and musician Patrick Bradley. You know, we're all in this together, we're all going to be helping each other out. So he'd say, turn to the person next to you and say, "You are so blessed," go ahead, "to be sitting next to me." Okay, thank you, Patrick Bradley. But it's true, it's true. Okay, our first piece is Come, Let's Worship the Lord. Okay? Wonderful. Anthony Giamanco, this is what we're about. This is our mission. We've just been talking about who we are as NPM and as pastoral musicians. So here we are going to sing all the way through verse 1. And then when we get to the bottom of page 4, we're not going to use the first ending. We're going to go right on to the second ending on the top of page 5, and then just continue singing all the way out to the end. Come, let's worship the Lord. Are you awake now? Wonderful, thanks. So as you already know, some of these pieces, will require a little rehearsal, so don't be hard on yourself if the first time we're reading through them you had a little trouble with that. So I want to especially thank all of these wonderful people behind me, many composers, people you'll recognize from our other showcases, also friends, and some local singers who are helping us out. So, also Ed Bolduck at the piano. Always wonderful to have him as an accompanist. He has a concert tomorrow night. He and Craig Colson, along with guest artist Lorraine Hess, who's here, and John Angadi on the end there. So come hear them tomorrow night. I think it's kind of a late night, but that's why we're here, right? You want to stay up and do those kind of things. Well, you know what? You did so well with 5/4. We have another one for you. Now that it's in your bones and we're ready to go. So this composer, Mark Skazafave, is here as well. Mark, wave, he's in the back row there. He's the music director at Old St. Pat's Church in Chicago. This is just a delightful text by William Wallace, who's from New Zealand. We have a couple of his collections of texts that we publish, and The Miracle of Life. So we're going to sing verse 1 and verse 2 of this lovely setting. That's lovely. Thank you, Mark. Yeah. Another piece, though, we need to keep going. Ooh, I'm right on time. You know how I am with this clock. I have sort of a love-hate relationship with the clock. Joel Kumro is joining us from Richmond, Virginia as our organist, and we're very grateful for that. Fan club, I see. I learned today that beards are helpful places to keep your pencil. I didn't know that till now. Our next composer is Robert Farrell. We've sung a number of his pieces here at showcases, and normally, many times, they're a cappella. This one showcases his writing for organ as well as chorus. So you'll see that women begin, and we're going to sing through verse 4. We'll omit verse 5. O Jesus King, most wonderful.
Source of peace.
And one more verse, so I'd like to leave you waiting for a little more. That's wonderful. The next piece you'll see here, Rise Again. Christian Kosas is with us. This is, yes, also a fan club. This is a really bold anthem that names some of the real difficulties and problems in our church and in our world, but I love that Christian places them in a context of hope. And so that's what this piece is about, hope and resurrection. And perhaps that is one of the reasons that this piece was chosen by the Association of Catholic Publishers as the Song of the Year. We're really proud of Christian for that. Thank you. And to make it even more spectacular, Meredith is going to be our cantor. So Meredith, yes, also fan club. All well-deserved. Meredith is going to sing verse 1 and verse 3. We need to know, and we do the responses. At the end of verse 3, if you look at page 6, we're going to go right on from the top of page 6 over to that second ending. And when you get there, you'll realize you want to sing the word hear, not the word see, because we're using part of a different verse. Then that verse right there, verse 5, how about anybody who's a cantor? Join in on singing the cantor line there. We still need some people to sing the choral parts. I think that'll work. Okay, Rise Again.
From the grave, from the dust and the ashes, we will rise again. Tomb with Christ Jesus,
You know, in the NPM session, I think it was Dr. Elaine Rendler saying something about notes on the page and them coming alive. And we all know that, but it's wonderful to hear it happen. And that's what just happened, so. The next piece, I'm happy to invite Dr. Thomas Jefferson to play this one, and Cliff Petty is going to join us here at the microphone, but ask you to sing along with him. They have a concert tonight, actually. There's a wonderful concert, so please come and join us at that. This is Come to Me, All You Who Are Weary. You know, all the time there are people in our assembly whose lives are in turmoil and in distress, and they're looking for a word of support, a song of support and comfort. And sometimes that person is us, you know? So this is a song for all of us at different times. We're going to hear the introduction, but then let's turn over to page 6. And right there, women, if you would start on verse 2 with Cliff. God will supply all that you need. And on the top of page 9, there is one verse that really requires some rehearsal. And you know, we don't have time to do that. I mean, one measure 54. So I would suggest in measure 54, you cough or drop a pencil or something. And then take it home and work on it at your lesson later. Okay.
God will supply all that you need. Just keep the faith, trust and believe. Don't be afraid. He'll pour out a blessing. Pour out a blessing for you. Shelter at time of storm. His arms are wide open, calling for you. Come to me, come to me. Come to me. Bring all your burdens. Take up my yoke. Take up my yoke. Learn from me. Come to me. Come to me. Come to me. Gentle of heart, you'll find rest for your soul. Gentle of heart, find rest for your I'm gentle of heart, for your soul.
This part is always much more fun than sitting at my desk, just imagining what it's going to sound like and practicing. I guess that's the way it usually is, though. So I'm sure you can find times when people need consolation, people need a little lifting up, that piece might be a good one for you. The next is Show Us Mercy by Jeanette Sullivan Whitaker. Another also fan club. And I should say hello to people who are watching this on the NPM live stream. I hope they're all saying yay wherever they are. And to tell them that there's a link at the bottom of the video there where you can go and actually look at these scores at the same time. As you might tell, I was supposed to say that about 6 songs ago, but it couldn't hurt to say it now. So sometimes the purest prayer is simple and honest. This is a very simple, heartfelt, beautiful piece. We're going to sing all the way through the first 3 pages in English. It's a very flexible piece. We're going to go back to the beginning and begin in Spanish. Then you see in the middle of page 3, there's a last time to coda. We're going to do that while we're singing that Spanish verse. So here we go. Mercy, O Lord. Wonderful in Lent, but also in the year of mercy, we learned that mercy is much broader than forgiveness. So when do we not need God's mercy? Next is a wonderful Baptist hymn arranged by Kyle Johnson, who's a very accomplished organist and also is preparing for ordination at the Lutheran School of Theology in Chicago. All about coming home like the prodigal son, all about conversion. So, Lord, I'm coming home. And we're just going to sing straight through this one. Save a little for the end. I'll just tell you that up front. Okay. Here we are. Listen to you. That's great. And then pass the offering basket, I think. Yeah, very good timing. Whew. The next piece is written by two gentlemen I have the privilege to call colleagues at World Library Publications. The text is by Alan Hummerding and the music is by Ed Bolduc. In Remembrance. We're going to sing, Ed will sing verse 1, and there's a refrain with that. And then we're going to go right on to the bridge, so you get a chance to hear the bridge. We'll all come back and sing verse 3 and a refrain. And you'll notice there's a little verse at the bottom that says Holy Thursday. That's a verse that this is a communion piece. If on Holy Thursday you want to hearken back to the foot washing and the theology of service, and also that institution of service as part of our Eucharistic belief, you can use that verse as one of the verses. So I'll let Ed start this one.
Jesus, teacher, Lord and Master, at the table with his friends, took the bread and said the blessing, then he broke it as he said, In remembrance, you must do as I have
And Alan, we just published a new collection of, I think, about 41 or 42 of his newer hymn texts called Breath of Christ. And he is at Hymn Society, or I guess just finished Hymn Society this week, presenting that new collection. So be looking for that. Stone Rejected by the Builders. This is from a series of Easter anthems that J. Michael Thompson kind of commissioned and then brought to us, one for each Sunday of the Easter season in year B. But it's an Easter story, so you don't really have to wait till year B comes around again for this Stone Rejected by the Builders. The guys get to just hum a D for a long time. Long time. And the women get to sing in Mixolydian mode. So it's a lot of fun. A nice, wonderful little piece here. Let's see if there's anything else I need to show you. No, we'll just sing the whole thing and you will follow perfectly. I asked Ed just to play that first phrase for the women so they can kind of get the F sharp in their ear. Okay, here we go. Gentlemen, there's your D. 1 and 2 and and women. Stone rejected by the builders, now become the cornerstone. Jesus, source of all our gladness, joining all the church as one. You were dead for our transgressions, now you live forevermore. With the keys of death and Hades, you a very versatile bunch. That's terrific. Next, I have a psalm written by Ed Eicher, someone whose pieces you have really enjoyed hearing, and I know you've made them your own in your parishes. This is the psalm, of course, for Ascension. I'm going to ask our trumpeter, Alex, to intone this refrain, and then let's all sing it in parts. And gentlemen, sing verse 1. Women, please sing verse 2. We're not using that first ending, so when you sing, trumpets for the Lord off, all you people, it comes in rather quickly there. God mounts his throne. God mounts his throne to shouts of joy. A blare of trumpets for the Lord. All you peoples, clap your hands, shout to God with cries of gladness. For the Lord, the Most High, the Awesome, is the great King over all the earth. God mounts his throne to shouts of joy. A blare of trumpets for the Lord. God mounts his throne, all his shouts of joy. The Lord, a big trumpet blast. Sing praise to God, sing praise. Sing praise to the King, sing praise. God mounts his throne to shouts of joy. A blare of trumpets for the Lord. I think that really captures the sense of that psalm. I really like it, and I think it would be a sturdy one that you would use each year. A little more Ascension here also uses another part of the Psalm 47 text that we're familiar with, "Oh, clap your hands." Stephen Lay is here with us today. And also fan club. This is great. This one is going to be triumphant as it's marked, but maybe not 144 metronome marking. You can achieve that with your choir. You can hear it in the recording on our website, but today let's try to be a little more successful by taking it a hair slower. So when we get to page 4, we're going to skip the first ending and go right on. So women especially be attentive there, because the men will sing, "Shout with joy," and you come right in, "Oh, clap your hands." So we'll start at the beginning, and again on page 9, we're going to go straight ahead. And notice there, altos, that you get a new line added at the bottom of 9. So you have your own little part there through to the end. Oh, clap your hands.
Clap your hands, oh, clap your hands.
that's even not 144, but it's pretty close. But isn't that magnificent? You feel like you're really able to express your joy about God being king and mounting God's throne. The next is a very, very lyrical piece by Bob Moore. And I did say, and I know Bob won't mind this, that I left my cell phone, in my bag. So any of the composers that are watching this from afar, you can't call me to tell me the tempo's a little off or you'd like me to do it some other way, because this just has to go on. So, Locus Iste, also a text that we may know from the gradual for dedication of a church, meaning this place was made by God, a priceless sacrament. It is without reproach. So don't we believe that every time we gather, we're coming into a space that is holy and blessed. So this is very sustained. We're just going to sing through page 5, the middle of page 5. It's just a lovely, kind of rocking, beautiful piece. Here we go in 6/8. Of course, there's more lusciousness to follow. Thank you, Bob Moore, for that. Next is a wonderful spiritual. Steve Janko arranged this, and Steve is with us. There he is over on the end. Big fan club. Steve is now the director of a program at Alverno College in Milwaukee, Wisconsin that offers a Master of Arts in Music and Liturgy. The coursework was just launched this summer, and Steve has a table here in the exhibit area. Come and talk with him. As I look at this text, this spiritual, it reminds me that there is always that human yearning for welcome, for a place at the table, for a home, as we see in our own time today. This is, I'm going to eat at the welcome table. I'd like to look at one part with you just so that you feel successful with it. It's on the top of page 6. So it starts out with the women. Maybe we could just all sing the soprano part there. I just want you to look at that. It's going fly, 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 fly. So just that much. It's just that little breath before that with that little eighth note rest. Let's just try that. 1, go. Fly, 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 fly. All right, wonderful. Okay, so there'll be some other surprises, but at least that one. Let's stand up. This deserves a little standing, unless you really don't want to. So I'm gonna eat. Starts out sopranos and altos just telling us what they need. 1 and 2. I'm gonna eat at the welcome table. I'm gonna eat at the welcome table some of these days. I'm gonna eat at the welcome table. I'm gonna eat at the welcome table some of these days. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey. Oh yes, I am. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey some of these days. Oh yes, I am. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey some of these days. Some of these days. I'm gonna. Cross Jordan's river some of these days. I'm gonna wade across Jordan's river. I'm gonna wade across Jordan's river some of these days. I'll fly, 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 Oh, to have a choir of 1,000 people to sing that in our parishes. That would be great. So, Two Communion Motets by Thomas Kiesecker, also a fine, well-known composer. He is teaching us here a little bit of some Charles Wesley texts that may not be as familiar to us as Catholics, but are wonderful reflections on communion. So we're looking at number 2 on page 6, How Happy Are Thy Servants, Lord. And I am getting a little bit late, so there might be a little cutting coming up, but I know that's why you come, to see how I'm miraculously going to end on time. Okay, maybe by stopping all the talking. How happy are thy servants, Lord? Starts with women. Thank you. 3, 4.
What tongue can tell our sweet accord, our perfect harmony? With thy mysterious operation, here at thy table fed,
Thank you. That is some good a cappella sight reading. We had a little help, but I think you did most of it yourselves. Tony Ward, In Your Dwelling Place. Comfort, this is for November, funeral, memorials, song of consolation. It's worth using consistently so your assembly would learn it. We are going to begin with verse 3 at the bottom of page 3, and then we are going to go straight on at the top of 5, and then when we get to page 7, I'd like the altos to take that melody on verse 6, In Your Dwelling Place, O God, because other people have some harmonies. At the bottom of 3, that should be soprano and bass singing the melody, because you see below there's an alto and tenor line. So, In Your Dwelling Place, O God. I don't know if there's any place I'm going to be able to shorten this. We'll just keep going. Okay, In Your Dwelling Place. It's so lovely. Thank you, Tony, for that really wonderful piece. Take a look at some of the other verses that we had to skip. The next is a text, May He Support Us, by John Henry Newman, who'll be canonized on October 13th of this year. So take a look at it for that day, or for night prayer, or the end of choir, all sorts of ways to use this. Again, a very simple unison piece. May He support us all the day long. Quite lovely, thank you. Next, we have For the Beauty of the Earth, familiar text, but with a brand new arrangement, new music by Luke Rosen, who is here. Oh, he has that kind of name, doesn't it? Luke, okay. For the Beauty of the Earth. So we are going to start here. Let's see. We start at the very beginning, but then I would like to skip verse 2, which means when you are at the end of verse 1, men especially, you have to kind of keep your place at page 8, because we're going to go to verse 3, and it's a men's verse. Okay, and we'll sing some of this and get through verse 3 and 4. Okay, and I may bring you to a closure at some point, because I'm a little over here. Okay, nobody's kicking me off the stage yet. Okay, For the Beauty of the Earth. Quite a wonderful piece for Thanksgiving or anytime you want to celebrate creation and being thankful. Okay. Promise me you'll take it home and sing through the next verse, though, because I really wanted you to hear that, but it's a little late. So thank you again, Luke. A very worthy addition to parish repertoire. So thank you to our wonderful instrumentalists, all of these singers who gave their morning to prepare for this, to Mary Lou Rafferty and the Rafferty family, and to all of you. Come see us at the booth. And if you're watching online and wish you could have this live experience, look for one of our 14 Sing the Seasons choral reading events around the country. The last piece, we can all get on our feet and choose either part 1 or part 2. MJ, Marie Jo Thum, is here with us. She wrote this delightful children's piece that really all the grown-ups want to sing too. Let all that has breath. Just pick a part and we're going to sing all the way through. There's one place where you can ignore the repeat sign. Thank you. Let all that has breath. your voice and spirit to this session.